Hello, all you goats out there. Welcome back to the channel. In the spirit of this hot summer, today's video features Maneater. Developed and published by Tripwire Interactive, Maneater features the journey of a female bull shark as she cuts a bloody swath along the bayou and coastal waters on her path to becoming the top predator in the region. Family, death, revenge, and satiric representations of the absolute corruption of the land due to human greed. It's a real Sharksperian experience. The gameplay itself is somewhat simplistic. I mean, you're a shark, so the lack of opposable thumbs really limits what you can do. With that said, the battles can get really chaotic, and will have your hands feeling like jelly if you play for hours on end like I do. Now, let's get this show on the road. Put your water wingies on, get a fruity drink, and dip them toes into some water as we dive into Maneater. Our story begins in a little place called Crawfish Bay. We follow an adult female bull shark as she exits the underwater aqueducts in search of prey. The bull shark is very aggressive and a voracious eater. That combination ensures there's nothing in or out of these waters she won't consume on her quest to fill the ever-present insatiable hunger. Able to adapt to both fresh and salt waters, the bull shark often comes into contact with humans. Our subject here has been left a parting gift by one such human, a man hell-bent on spearing the biggest sharks he can find to prove his worth as a hunter. Unfortunately for these beachgoers, they will pay the price of her rage at all humankind. As she devours human after human in the water, on land, thrashing them about before they disappear into her gullet, shark hunters approach.
How you doing there, shark?
She holds her own against these nefarious boat-riding demons, terrifying them with her ability to leap out of the water and snatch them right off the deck, and destroying their noise-polluting machines, sending them to the bottom of the bay. But even our voracious sharp-toothed killer is no match for Pierre LeBlanc, also known as Scaly Pete.
Dinner coming, boys. Let's get her up on deck, huh?
She's captured and hung up to dry by her tail fin. We discover this devious devil to be the son of the hunter whom lodged that spear in her side.
Yeah, this my daddy's iron, alright.
Nothing good can come of this encounter for our bull shark. Indeed, Scaly Pete slices her from stem to stern and pulls out her still living pup.
Oh, look at it. She's on for me.
This mother-to-be won't be surviving this encounter, but all is not lost. The daughter is just as, if not more, aggressive than her mother, and severs Pete's hand from his arm, leaving a bloody stump in her wake as he tosses her overboard.
The tiny pup responds with an instinct for survival.
Don't ever want to turn off the camera.
As we now follow the pup, we see that her very first meal is Pierre LeBlanc's hand. Revenge and hunger run through her blood, and with the traumatic birth, the death of her mother, and being marked by that monster, her life path has already been decided. She will turn the waters red with the blood of all mankind, and ravage everything she comes across. Brutality, my friends, is the name of the game. But right now, she's just a pup, much too small to take on the hunter. She must consume and grow. And consume she does. At first, it's groupers, catfish, turtles, and the wily muskellunge, but due to humanity's tendency to throw everything in the water, she comes across nutrient caches that not only provide sustenance for our baby bull, they also contain performance-enhancing mutagens, giving her an even greater boost on her way to becoming the ruler of these waters. This shark will not be any ordinary shark though. There are things in these waters that have allowed her to mutate as she grows, allowing her to take advantage of traits she normally wouldn't have, like better nutrient absorption of the tiger shark, and a sonar-like ability that helps her locate prey farther and farther away. As she grows into a teen, she's now strong enough to take on the barracudas of Baltic Bayou, and even a gator or two when she's feeling particularly daring. Still, she isn't the only killer in these waters. There are beasts far larger and stronger than her current form that lurk in the murky, winding depths. She's not a mindless killer. She knows to pick her battles, to wait until the time is right, and then she will strike. Until that time, she ventures further into Dead Horse Lake. This lake is home to radioactive waste-spewing towers, barrels of toxic sludge from the nearby Sunshine sunscreen plant, and everyday garbage. Anything that lives in these waters must be hardy and resistant, or able to adapt to the highly toxic environment. One such creature is our teenage bull. She will take the mistakes of humanity and use them to her advantage, mutating further into an unstoppable killing machine. Much like her mother, she spots locals hanging out near the water. Her blood runs hot and urges her to make theirs run freely. They have no clue their night is about to be turned into a midnight mass of blood and carnage. The party is thrown into chaos as the shark lunges out of the water and begins to eat them right there on the muddy ground near the water's edge. Shark hunters show up in the middle of her frenzy, but not even they can stop her from consuming every single human around that fire. Not even this guy. And they too will know fear, as they had no idea just what kind of predator they were going up against. A punk called Bayou Willie shows up, eager to make a name for himself in the shark hunting ranks. He is ridiculously outmatched. His driver is eaten first, leaving him motionless on the now choppy red-stained waters. The only mercy this voracious bull shows him is a quick death. He doesn't linger in the fear long before all he knows is darkness and pain as he is devoured head first. With all the delicious humans and mutated wildlife, adulthood soon welcomes our bull. She's quickly becoming a large fish in a small pond and will need to move on soon to find more nutrients to support her rapid and phenomenal growth. However, there's still business she needs to attend to. She can't let another apex lurk in any of her territories. And now, with a special set of bioelectric teeth to aid her along with her bulkier form, she heads back to the bayou to settle a score. Rosie is a very large American gator, and it's easy to see how she claimed this region as her own for so long. But she's never fought anything as bloodthirsty as our bull shark. And when they are pitted against each other, it's the bull shark that remains whole and devours what's left of Rosie. With the defeat of all the top-tier predators within the bayou and the lake, our shark moves on in search of greater prey. Meanwhile, a camera crew filming this season of Maneater has teamed up with Scaly Pete to film his life as a shark hunter. With him is his son Kyle, who doesn't seem quite up to snuff to follow in his father's footsteps.
Must get that from his mama.
Shark hunting is a family business. Pierre's father was also a shark hunter, and he had a proclivity for seeking out the legendary mega. He believed it was some sort of secret government experiment unleashed into the waters. Perhaps he was right, perhaps not, but clearly there are some painful memories Pierre LeBlanc holds secret. For now. We leave Scaly Pete for now and return back to our bull shark who has entered the waters of Golden Shores, a place where wealthy vacationers golf and pollute while restricting beach access to only those whom can afford the beachfront property. This, of course, matters not to the shark. Rich or poor, they are all just meat. By the way, here's an interesting fact. Bull sharks have been known to also eat other sharks. I bet the mako wishes it had known this fact before going up against the rampaging nightmare of teeth and muscle that has just come to claim the mako's territory for her own. Port Clovis as a whole seems to be teeming with makos, although in a harsh reality, short-fin makos are an endangered species. You can thank overfishing and polluted waters for this unfortunate truth. However, just like with any other enemy and/or prey, our bull shark does not care. Nothing will stand in her way of becoming an unforgiving god of the sea. Poseidon, eat your heart out. As night falls, the shark spots a group of soft-meat humans playing their games, all nameless, faceless meat in the eyes of our killer. In spectacular style, she lunges and propels herself along the ground with powerful muscles, devouring anyone too slow to get out of her reach. I'm sure they wish they would have stayed home to play croquet for this vacation. On cue, the hunters arrive to interrupt her meal. They shoot bullet after bullet, a vain effort to bring down the beast currently decimating their numbers. Besides, there's no way she's gonna fall to a guy called Pookie Paul.
The situation
After feasting on king mackerel and as many humans as it can stomach, our bull catches the scent of competition.
The Sultan of Speed, the Mako.
This apex mako is fast and agile, able to outmaneuver the bull shark with its quick twists and turns. But it too will not be able to survive the 1,300 pounds per square inch of bite force this bull shark wields. Golden Shores has been a boon to her strength, as we can now see even more physical mutations presenting on this bull. And with her incredible adaptability, she's able to utilize all of them for whatever situation may arise. However, Golden Shores would never be able to sustain her for long. In her insatiably gluttonous quest for power and food, she must move on to bigger and better waters. Bigger and better prey. While she's in search of her wants, we'll check back in with Scaly Pete. Another day of fishing and family matters for the father-son duo. Kyle is going to university for marine biology and seems to disagree with how his father goes about his business.
Yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't be mutilating baby sharks.
But is either too meek or too respectful to really call him out on it. Pete isn't an easy man to get along with, but he does show a smidgen of paternal love for his son. That unfortunately does not negate the heinous actions he is held accounted for. His own quest to be sovereign of the sea has caused untold turmoil to the waters and its flora and fauna that reside within. We may never know what drives a man to cast off equilibrium and care not for what his actions cause, but...
Boy, don't like me saying this, but my daddy, his granddaddy, was killed by a mega shark.
Oh, never mind. It's revenge. Like Titus Andronicus and Tamora, Queen of the Goths, Pierre LeBlanc and the Bull Shark play this tragic game of revenge for revenge. In his odious quest of retaliation against all cartilaginous sea dogs for his father's death, he has unintentionally set himself on a path of his own destruction. As our bull shark rampages along Prosperity Sands and the Gulf, not even the infamous great white stands a chance. Normally, great whites are significantly larger than the bull shark, but this isn't any ordinary bull. Due to all the pollutants and mutagens in the water, she's accidentally been genetically altered, and she's about due for another growth spurt. Before this mutation triggers, however, she's managed to catch the scent of her ultimate nemesis. With him so close by, she cannot resist her nature. Vengeance, carnage, hunger, and the need to be the biggest and baddest of them all is far too alluring to turn away from.
That's the one what took my hand, all right. Get yourself ready, boy.
They meet head on, with Scaly Pete safely secure in his cage. He sends out explosive depth charges and rains down lead on the shark below. This shark is much too smart though, and quickly sends those explosives right back at him. Well, in his general direction anyway. When that doesn't do the job, he sends out elite hunter-divers to engage her face to face. All that really accomplishes is giving the shark a nice little snack to keep her going. Her bone-like fins turn this graceful pirouette into a deadly spin blender that eventually destroys the protective cage of his trawler. That's when he calls in the reinforcements. Nevertheless, it's too late. They can't save him from her gaping maw filled with vampiric-like teeth. The voracious bull shark takes yet another limb from him, and in his harried state, orders his son to pour the gas. He himself lights the fire, but in his reckless abandon didn't think about the fuel tank right under their feet.
We're about to blow! Get the f*** off!
Kyle tries to put out the fire, but this proves ultimately futile.
Forget it, boss! He's just a boy!
Somehow, both Pete and the shark survived this blast, but Kyle became an innocent victim in this game of revenge. That won't be the last we see of Scaly Pete. Even without the loss of his son, he would have never stopped. But now it's a matter of seeing what deep, dark depths he'll reach in order to continue this folly.
What remains of the boat lurches, then slowly sinks to the bottom of the sea.
The shark, though a lot more scarred than before, has survived the encounter. Now, in her elder form, she's bigger, stronger, faster. However, now that the evolutionary gates have been opened, it doesn't take long before she's rocketed up into Mega, her currently final size evolution.
In the 70s, abandoned bales of marijuana.
In this form, there is nothing she can't best. And there will be some foes out there that will surely put that to the test. Prosperity Sands, full of high-rise buildings, theme parks, and party locations, is chock full of fake tanned plastic-filled humans. Our shark will have more than her fill of them while terrorizing this location. From the pier to the park, no one is safe. In fact, it almost seems as if they don't care. No matter how many humans she devours, more come to replace them, seemingly unconcerned with the slaughter that happened only hours before. On the other hand, Scaly Pete is taking this shark very seriously. Serious enough to poison the waters of Sapphire Bay, ensuring our shark will either die or stay away. He's getting destructively bold, unsurprising for a man who feels he has nothing left to lose. She could of course find an alternate route around, however there's no need. She's already conquered those waters. She craves a challenge. And a challenge she will find in the various aquariums within Caviar Key. Think something akin to that awful nightmare known as SeaWorld. The orcas that live here are angry and ferocious, almost as dangerous as our shark, and are large enough to catch her in their jaws. She has to use every trick in the book to best these wolves of the sea. However, the one thing that truly makes them a serious danger is not available to these who have been held in captivity for so long. A pod, a family. They are lone killers and thus do not have the backup or teamwork to take down the dangerous bull. In the end, they are meat, just like everything else. Captain Robert Brunlet will also learn this fact. He is the last of the shark hunters in Port Clovis. All before him have fallen to teeth and tail, thus he's come prepared. His boat features something akin to an electrical cage around it, something that damages the shark if she gets too close. But you know, the scale is smarter than the average shark. Her ability to hold prey in her jaws and tail whip them into obstacles would make Wayne Gretzky blush. This technique is the clincher to destroying the one thing keeping this guy alive. It's only a matter of time before he too discovers just how acidically inhospitable a shark's stomach can be. With Scaly Pete being the only shark hunter of any merit left, it's only the peons that come for her from now on. The shark fodder, if you will. They will certainly put up a fight, but by this point, we all know the shark can and has bested them. They are no longer of any concern to her. Scaly Pete is on her mind. The one that she absolutely must destroy. However, deep in the Gulf waters lies one more challenger she is yet to face. The large and in charge sperm whale. One can't help but get a sense of foreboding as the silhouette of this large creature becomes visible in the darker depths of the ocean. While not the biggest whale in the world, that title belonging to the glorious blue whale, they aren't small fry either. Averaging about 52 feet long and weighing around 45 tons, this whale packs a lot of wallop. Even with the shark being larger than normal, she's still half the size of this apex sperm whale. She is, however, far more agile. The whale, with its large size and body shape, can't maneuver as expertly and swiftly as our bull shark can. Thus, she utilizes her speed as an advantage. In her current form, she possesses deadly poison she can secrete from her body and literally fling it at prey to continuously damage them as she performs bite and run tactics to take down such a large caliber of opponent. This beast, that seemed to have survived multiple whaling attempts, falls to our true apex of apexes. With the largest and strongest inhabitant defeated, it isn't long before Scaly Pete rears his head again. Now, missing a hand, a leg, his son, and his hair, he's pulled out the big guns. An old warship retrofitted to hunt this shark in particular. This time, he's brought torpedoes that lock onto their target. Painful to be hit by for sure, but with the shark's agility and speed, she's able to shake them and then use those very same torpedoes against the hunter. An Uno reverse, if you will. More hunters join the fray, but they are but chum in the water as the bull performs a chaotic dance of destruction. Pete's boat can't hold up for much longer, and soon our shark has our chance to finish him off once and for all.
Laissez les bons temps rouler.
I suppose there's a lesson to be gleaned here. Something about how the increasing commodification of the natural world has placed humans on a collision course with an environmental apocalypse.
Come on now, Pete, you've already tried that trick before. Do you really think another explosion would do our voracious bull in? She is the apex. It would take far, far more than that to take her out. She will still be lurking in the depths of this sea for a long time to come. And perhaps you should have listened to your father, because there is far more to this mutation anomaly than polluted waters. From cult activity to government black ops to aliens. But that's another tale for another day. For now, our bull shark has proven herself to be queen of Port Clovis, and will remain that way until she discovers new challenges on the horizon. So a little bit of final thoughts here. Yes, this game mostly consists of boss fights and eating people. However, it is more than that, if you let it be. It's clearly rife with satire, but does point out some unfortunate truths. The seas and oceans of our planet are very important, and the ecosystems within are being destroyed by mankind's polluting habits. Mega corporations that dump chemicals and waste into rivers that carry that out into the sea are a big problem. Oil spills and everyday trash are a big problem. And unlike Maneater, I doubt we'll get any highly powerful mutated sharks. More than likely, they'll just die. And what that means for us is certainly nothing good. There are many ways you could help, or at least reduce your impact in this area. Donating to charities is one thing, helping with local cleanups is another. However, I know that we all have a lot going on in our lives right now and simply can't spare the time, energy, or money for this. But perhaps we could consider what we're throwing in the garbage and maybe make an effort to reduce non-biodegradable waste. Or at least cut those plastic rings so it doesn't choke out a sea turtle.
Yes, I realize I'm saying this while sitting in a plastic kiddie pool. Hypocrite, thy name is Goat.
Aside from the horror of pollution, there's also the story of revenge that is a parallel line that runs through this entire game. Scaly Pete begets revenge for his father's death to a shark, The bull shark begets revenge for her untimely birth and death of her mother at Scaly Pete's hands. This is a cycle of revenge, and even with Pierre LeBlanc's end, who knows if it'll ever stop. But that's a human problem. The bull shark has achieved what her instincts tell her, to be the top of the food chain. And that's gonna be it for Maneater, folks. I appreciate you sticking around for this long. You are the GOAT. And thank you to my fellow Midnight Goats, Pearl9907, Yeesha, Michael Hamilton, and Breno Mascarenas. Hopefully I didn't butcher those names too bad, but you know, this accent, I'm Southern, it happens. If you enjoyed this content, like and subscribe, and maybe leave a comment to let me know what you thought. I also have Patreon and YouTube memberships now, so if you do happen to want to monetarily support the channel, you have options. Both are the same price for the same thing, so please only subscribe to one. But don't worry if you can't or don't want to donate, but still want to engage further. That is perfectly fine. The Discord, the Midnight Herd, is completely free to join. We're just a bunch of goofballs over there and often have gaming sessions together. So if you're interested in any of that, come on down. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again on The Midnight Goat.